This company is making tablets for the visually impaired. The DotPad lets visually impaired users play games and browse the web. On the world's first smart tactile graphics display, it uses AI to analyze images and split them into segments, reproducing them on a tactile screen so blind people can read and interact with them. Users could access more than 2.2 million apps, including entertainment from TV shows to comic books, and for the first time, anything on the internet. Just like a standard tablet, you can zoom, tilt and rotate images, or take a picture and reproduce it on the tactile display to see what's there. There are huge implications for work too. Visually impaired people can struggle to interpret graphical material such as graphs, charts or diagrams. Tactile books are expensive and often hard to come by. And audio descriptions don't always work for complex topics. On the DotPad, they're easily and quickly accessible. Dot is a World Economic Forum Technology Pioneer 2023. There are 285 million blind and visually impaired people worldwide. Meanwhile, Google has released a feature that helps blind people take selfies. Guided Frame tells you to move your phone up, down, left or right. Then the phone vibrates when it's in the right place. While Honda has created shoes that buzz to tell blind wearers which direction to go. How else can tech help visually impaired people?
we say typically as feminist economists is that there is no such a thing as gender neutral policy or economic policy, and therefore we have to pay attention to the working of the economy, the policies, the economic policies, the social policies, businesses, to pay attention to how they reproduce gender inequalities and to help address these inequalities. We believe that via policy and via different initiatives, the economy could work towards equality. Gender inequalities combine and reinforce other inequalities. And then if left on their own, the economic system reproduces these inequalities. So it's not that inequalities exist outside the economy and then the economy works in vacuum. Let's go to Economics 101. The idea, and it's a very liberal one, is that wages reflect productivity. So as long as you are paid your productivity, your, in fact, marginal contribution to the productivity, that's fair. So the wage gaps would have a fair side, let's say, no? And an unfair side, which is discrimination. The point is, women, we are more and more educated. It's very hard to claim that we contribute less to productivity, or that we, although it is the case in very many places, we work less hours for pay. Typically, we work more hours when the unpaid care work is added. But setting that aside, even if we adjust by productivity and by all these things that could justify what we observe, the gender wage gaps remain. So there is discrimination. One thinks that what the decisions made in the private sphere are private, no? So this idea that we shouldn't interfere, but there is interference. If a young family has to decide who takes care of the children and who is in the labor force, well, the one that is going to be out will be the one who is better paid, and typically that's men. So not only you have wage gaps, gender wage gaps, and these are unjust, they send the wrong signals, because they send the signal that women should stay home and men should go out to work for pay. But if you provide families with affordable and typically public care services, then that conundrum does not exist. And maybe we get women out in the labor force that can prove their value, and perhaps the wage gaps we see can narrow.
This is as simple as a digital camera of the laser pointer. So you're using the laser pointer to kind of like transmit the electricity, the data from one end to the other end. And on the other end, think of the same digital camera which is receiving that same laser beams and is able to decode it and then convert it into bytes.
karena namanya mau hidup, dan susah pekerjaan yang lain yang belum kita bisa dapatkan di situ di pekerjaan yang lain. Akhirnya pekerjaan itu kita terjerumus di situ, kita bisa tahu, akhirnya terjun di situ, bisa terjerumus ke bom, ke pembiusan itu.
were really shocked because we couldn't expect so much water here at such altitude. This is one of the highest glaciers in Svalbard. We are close to the North Pole because we are 79 degrees north, and it's you can really touch with your hand what's going on in the planet, the effect of the climate change.
Drilling an ice core in this region is important because, first of all, we must do now because we might not have time in the future to do it again.
Our world has never ever witnessed an energy crisis of this depth and of this complexity.
Energy is the lifeblood of economy. We remember the importance of energy when we have a scarcity of it. An energy crisis is an opportunity to do a step change. There is no time to lose, and so we should really use this opportunity to go ahead and decarbonize the energy system and also make energy system more resilient, secure, and affordable for everyone.
Industrial production and transportation are the two sectors that emit most CO2 in Europe. Electrification of industrial processes is often the solution. And we already see a lot of examples of that, especially in industry, I think.
If you look specifically at the hard-to-abate sectors, what you see is that the solutions technically are there. What is stopping the transition is actually the cost of doing it.
Manufacturing, batteries, solar panels, electric cars, nuclear power, energy efficiency, heat pumps, hydrogen energy. All of them are flourishing around the world. United States came up with a major package of Inflation Reduction Act. Europe is giving a similar response to that. Japan, India, China.
Countries which really want to pump prime their economy, which really want to increase the energy balance, the only way which will actually bring the cost of energy down, and that is through the supply of green energy, which is the only energy, the more you use it, the cheaper it becomes. They are the economies which are going to steal the march on the rest of the world.
In the $3.4 trillion investment gap to finance the climate challenge, I think we have more than $100 billion that is needed to fund the infrastructure gap just in Africa. It's very important for everyone to ensure that we are financing projects in an inclusive way without excluding any technology, any fuel that is important for the future.
If you want to decarbonize a complete value chain, it's very hard for one player in the industry to do that alone. So what we do in LCET, low carbon emitting technologies, in this platform which has been created by the WEF, what we do here is with a group of industry players, we collectively decarbonize an entire value chain, and this spreads risk.
We need to understand that energy is not only about supply. Many people talk about fossil fuel versus renewable. That is an important part of the debate. But we have to talk also a lot about, or to work a lot, on the demand side. Because if we lower the demand, we'll need less energy supply.
So it's about making sure that we actually make a reality out of the technology, the knowledge and the capital that is actually there in order to run this. And we need to increase the pace now.
Manufacturing is more than just data science. It's about the actual implementation. So I often use a term called AI for AI, artificial intelligence for actual implementation in manufacturing. If you look at what we do today in many industries, you use technologies like automation, intelligent system to make products. But there are a lot of gaps. The gaps could be inventory, the waste, a lot of labor costs, and also quality issues. Those are common. So I think the future manufacturing will be how these gaps can be physically reduced or removed. That can make the manufacturing even more attractive for young people. And also it's very meaningful for the future. Technology always evolves over a different period. The good AI technology to solve those high complex problems, for example, optimization, scheduling, diagnostics, prediction, those can be great tools. But every company have a different type of problems. They need to define a good purpose. That's why the Global Lighthouse Network, we often talk about change story. What's your change story? Why you change? Just because of 5G, because of AI? Probably not. I want to improve the quality of my product. I want to increase the efficiency of my production. I want to integrate my supplier's capability into my manufacturing system to help a leaner, more advanced solution. So I think those are the very important things. So we need to define the right purpose. If those are clear, I think the high tech, hard tech, or good tech, they can make things happen. If objectives are not clear, that's only become a demonstration. I mean, it's also good, but probably the ROI may not have high return, yes. How can you help the current workforce to use the right technology and tools? I think to teach them, I think to empower them is more important, right? So as academia, we need to, first, test technology faster. Second, we teach younger generation even the new technology to meet the demand of a society. The third, university, we can make mistakes first. That will give industry and other partners the opportunity to learn for the correct way. If you look at the future, how we make this whole thing well addressed, smart digital technology, quantum AI, 5G, for example, should make things transparent, traceable, and transferable. But first, we have to find the right purpose. I think industry will have many problems. But once the purpose is clear, we can use technology to fill the process gap. If we can use the technology to fill those gaps, then these are good technology. They may not be high tech, but they are good tech.